Hey, hi, so, today is actually the 5th, I believe. This is delayed. I'm apologizing. This is the April update. So basically, I've gotten a cold for the past couple days, and the day I wanted to film this, I filmed 15 minutes of it, and then couldn't talk. So, I may have to take a break at some points and suck on a haul, because I might lose my voice. So I apologize that it's late. But I did get some of the stuff I ordered in April that I'm going to show now, because it makes the update look a little bit more fancy than it did when I originally was going to film this. So, yes! Hi! So today, I'm going to show you my stuff. I don't know why. You can already tell I'm out of it. I'm repeating 10 things. So, a lot of money actually went to... I'm going to pull it down here. I got a new keyboard. I've been using the stock keyboard out of my Lenovo, whatever computer, and I wanted a new fancy keyboard. This one's got lights, it can change colors, and all that junk. But the actual thing is, though, it feels fan-frickin-tastic. The actual keyboard itself I really, really like, and just how it feels. But I bought this with a mouse. This is the mouse, same company, Rifftrax. The mouse is horrible. I do not recommend this mouse. I've gotten used to it quite a bit, but the mouse will turn off if you don't use it after like 5-10 minutes, and it's just really small. So if you're gonna go buy a mouse, I think this was actually one of the cheaper mouses, but it was also like one of the higher recommended ones, and it was really, really bad. So the keyboard, fantastic. I can't recommend this keyboard enough. The mouse, never again. They did have a gaming mouse, which I like the keyboard. I want to give them more credit because the keyboard was fantastic. So I want to get that out of the way real fast so we can get to the actual bulk of stuff. Let's real fast get to the anime. There's no manga this month, I apologize. But there will be manga this coming month. So yeah, wait for that one. But there is some anime, only one box set of anime. There's some other things I'll show you, but one box set of anime. And I haven't actually watched it yet because I just got it the other day, and that is One Piece Season 6 Voyage 4. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen in this box set, just from the cover. They're fighting this koala, I don't know, some bear-looking guy who looked like a bear priest. He was introduced for about 2 minutes in the last episode of One Piece that was in the last box set. So this actually goes from 373 to 384, and this is, from what I understand, the last box set of Season 6, which is really odd because most box sets I kind of thought had 6 box sets in a set, like of a season, and this one only had 4. So I don't know what's going on there, but I already know that Season 7 is already up for pre-order, which I pre-ordered already because One Piece is my shonen that I watch, because I really like it, and you guys should know that. But the actual insides is the same thing over and over, just these. They haven't changed them since day one. And then you got your disc, which they have changed to show the Sunny, I believe is the new ship. So, yeah, One Piece is fantastic. I buy it every time it's out because it's just really, really good. And if you're out there wondering, is One Piece the show I should jump into? I would say 110% yes. Out of One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto, Bleach no one even cares about anymore. So Bleach is already thrown out, and I'm not trying to be mean to Bleach fans, but you guys know that no one talks about Bleach anymore. It's usually just Naruto, which is already done. It's ended, basically. I guess the show has a few more things and probably 100 episodes of filler that they're going to do, because that's what they do. But One Piece is the one that's going to keep on going because it's good, and that's why it keeps going. So there's a reason why it's like almost 1,000 episodes, right? And it's like never filler. It's always content that's good. I know, I'm biased on One Piece. You're gonna see it in the corner there, whatever. So that's all the anime I got this month. So, let's get into another box of something. I'll show real fast. Not all the discs are here, because I'm actually currently gonna be watching one soon. And I'll just show you the box here. That is Mystery Science Theater 3000 box set 24. This comes with Fugitive Alien, Star Force Fugitive Alien 2, The Sword and the Dragon, and Samson versus the Vampire Woman. If you don't know, I'm relatively new to actually physically watching the full episodes. But what this is you probably heard of something called like Rifftrax, where these guys, it's a commentary which you can buy and you watch over a movie. Probably one of the more famous ones is like The Room Rifftrax. But this was that in the past. It was a guy and his two robots who would talk over usually free domain films and make fun of them, and it's always hilarious, and it's always the full movie with skits. So each episode is usually about an hour and a half long. It's really funny. I would totally recommend it, but the price of these are very steep. Usually, I got this for $40, which is the cheapest one I found. There's one I really want, which is the Gamera set, which I guess they made fun of I'm not sure if it was just one or a bunch of Gamera films, which sounds fantastic. But usually, the ones I really like, these Mystery Science 3000 ones, and if you guys are trying to find one or two you might want to watch, see if you can find any with a movie produced by Sandy Frank. Sandy Frank was a guy, production company dude, who would buy these dirt, like $100, like dirt cheap Japanese rights to these movies or shows, dub them with like 3 different people, and release them. And usually those are the best ones. Like Fugitive Alien 1 and 2 was a TV show called, I think, Star Wolf or something along those lines. And it was a show that he cut up and turned into 2 movies, and it makes zero frickin' sense, and they make fun of it so bad. Probably the best joke in the whole thing is when they'll sing themes to the music that's happening, and there's one where there was a character trying to kill another character with a forklift. So they'll start singing a song like, there goes Andy down the street, and do-do-do-do-do, and then right when it gets to like the main line, and they're like, they tried to kill him with a forklift. It's fucking hilarious. So I recommend Mystery Science Theater if you can get a hold of one. They're done by Shout Factory. Each one comes with their own little cool fancy covers, and they usually come with posters, so they usually come with a bonus something. Shout Factory is an amazing company. I really like them. I wish they would pump out more stuff that I want. For example, they're the ones who released and I will be talking about more of these shows, but they released the Super Sentai Jew Ranger, something along those lines, sorry. And that is basically Japanese Power Rangers. They released Ultraman. Well, they released Ultra 7. Ultraman was done by Mill Creek, another company, but they release a lot of these like cult classic type things, and they're always fan-frickin-tastic. So, yeah, I recommend checking them out once in a while, but they do release a lot of crap. I'm not gonna pass that. They do release a lot of like, hey, do you want the Honeymooners episode blah blah collection pack? Not saying the Honeymooners is bad, but you know what I mean. That kind of generic stuff. So, yeah, so that's really all the DVDs. Now it's all games. So, if you don't want to see me talk about games, I thank you very much for watching and somehow sticking with me. Even though you shouldn't, but I'm very pleased you do. So yeah, video games. If you guys are interested in that, I actually got quite a bit of them. So, yeah. Let's get into the PS4 games. I'll actually show the game that I forgot to talk about last month, which I mentioned I think at the end of last month's video, and that was Resident Evil Revelations 2. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil, from the very first one. I'm just gonna actually, remember how I said I was gonna suck at a haul? I'm gonna do it, so if I talk funny, I apologize. I'm not gonna do that, because I realize I won't be able to talk. But, Resident Evil Revelations 2, everyone was saying how its Revelations series is back to what made Resident Evil, and usually half those people didn't play 1 through 3, they just played 4. Not saying 4 is bad, 4 is amazing. But, Resident Evil Revelations 2 is very decent. There's things I like, there's a lot of things I hate. I do kind of feel bad for the people who bought this when it was coming out in episodes, because they probably spent a lot more than just a physical copy. This comes with all the little DLCs and everything, But the actual story itself, you play as Claire, which is cool because we haven't played as Claire since the Claire Veronica Code back on Dreamcast and PS2, which was a pretty decent game. It played just like the original 3, but with better graphics, so that's really cool. Code Veronica, not Veronica Code, but that sounds like a TV show in the 70s. Veronica Code! Sorry. But you play as her, and you play as also Barry's daughter. Barry was a character from the first game. If you know Resident Evil, you know who Barry is. And you play as those two, and there's an excuse why the one girl can't use a gun. She only uses a flashlight. And you have to switch between characters to solve puzzles, which can be sometimes very annoying, but for the most part plays pretty well. But then you play that chapter, and then you play this chapter as Barry, which, guys, Resident Evil fans, did you hear that? You get to play as Barry. I'm gonna fix the camera after shaking it, but you get to play as Barry, which is amazing. And it's the original voice actor, which means he's not good, because if you guys played the original, you know the original voice actor for Barry is horrible, but in a good way. And he's there, and it's amazing. And you play as him and a little girl. Reason, once again, you can't have two characters who shoot weapons. We have to have an excuse, so let's have a little girl who can't shoot a weapon because she's a little girl. But she can point at things and see through walls because she has an infection, maybe? We don't know. Well, we do, but not till the end of what's with her. And even when you beat the game, and this is where, I'm not going to get too into this, but when you beat the game ends and you're like, okay, so where's the next chapter? And no, there's no next chapter. There's a DLC chapter you can play, which may explain things, but the actual main game doesn't have an ending. It's supposed to be like a cliffhanger, and then I guess you're supposed to buy the DLC, but I shouldn't have to play DLC to know the ending of the game. You know what I mean? Even though I might have that DLC on here, I shouldn't have to. So the ending of this game is very, well, non-existent. But is it a bad game? No! I recommend picking it up. Do I recommend the $39.99? Not necessarily. I think wait for it to go down to 20-something and then pick it up. If you're a huge Resident Evil fan, you already own it. But if you think you can wait. It had some issues, but it's not bad. Next two games. One, actually, if you were following me on Facebook, I 100%'d it, which that doesn't happen too often. And the other game is one I'm currently still playing, and my god, it is so hard, but not as hard as the game that's actually in my PS4, which, damn, I forgot to get over here. I actually don't have a case for it, so I'm just going to mention it right now, right here real fast. I got Bloodborne. It only came with the disc. I got it from a seller who didn't have the packaging, but my god. I love Demon's Soul, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, something. I don't know why that sounds weird to me, but I love that first game. Dark Souls I never liked. I couldn't get into them. Bloodborne is back to how it should be. It's fantastic. It's hard as hell. I'm not going to get into it here because if you guys know the game, it's kind of like, it's basically an RPG that's super hard, where it's just actual combat. It's kind of like Chivalry in third person, where it's real combat. If you mess up, you're dead. Except there can be giant, huge monsters, which they'll just touch you and kill you. So why would you play a game like that? I understand, but it's fun as hell, and I'm getting near the end of it. I think I might talk about it maybe separately, but I'll definitely talk about it on my Facebook. That's not me trying to whore out my Facebook, I'm just saying, every time I beat a game, I usually talk about it on there. But, to the actual games I have cases for and actually can talk about, is Alien Isolation and The Order 1886. The Order was a PS4 exclusive, which, I'll say right now, there was huge debate about this game, how it was only 4 hours long, and how the whole game is cutscenes, and how it's super easy and really short, and yada yada yada. I will say, if you spent $70-something on this game, you may got ripped off. If you spent 22 like I did, you had a great time. The game looks amazing. If you don't know, it's a third-person shooter, gothic shooter, where it's very much like, if you ever heard of the Underworld movies, or like that, like Hellsing, that kind of medieval, but you know, like 1800s, but everyone's still wearing like some armor and like fancy dress and guns with flintlocks, that kind of thing. But like they have someone who's super smart, like Tesla, who can make fancy weapons for them. It's that feel with werewolves and vampires and yada yada, and it's really fun. But it's right, there's a lot of cutscenes, a lot of quick time event areas. The end of the game is a quick time event, which sucks. But the actual gameplay itself is nothing different from a Gears of War, where you run around, you gotta run, cover real fast, take out the guy, blind fire. It's your typical Gears type thing. Is it bad? No, it's fantastic. I spent probably, I did 100%, like, platinum trophy in 12 hours. Give or take. That might sound horrible for some people, and I understand that 12 hours to get a platinum trophy in any game sounds ridiculous. I understand that, but I don't like playing games for super long in, you know, sittings, and if I can beat a whole game in a sitting, I feel pretty good about it. But I understand if a lot of people... Whoa, my computer's scared the butt out of me. But I understand if you get angry at how short it is or whatever, but play it. It's really good. Wait for it to be half price, which in most cases it's already down to 30 something, so pick it up and play it. It's really good. Just don't expect it to be some ridiculously long game. Alien Isolation. Okay. Probably the best Alien game. This is coming from someone who hasn't played really any other Alien game, but I know about Colonial Marines and the Alien vs. Predator games, which I know had a lot of issues, and one of them was so bad that I think the company got sued. Some people would debate that the Alien game that's on, I want to say DOS, but it doesn't sound right. Old arcade-looking Alien where you can play as the alien, the Predator, and I think a Marine. Some people say that's the best game. I've seen it. It looks fun. I like those kind of games where they look like Wolfenstein type deal. But this game, you play as Ripley's daughter from the actual movies. If you need to watch the first movie to really understand this game. You don't have to watch all of them, just the first movie, which I did luckily beforehand. I actually have the box set behind me somewhere. But if you've seen the first movie and you like the first movie, this game is for you. If you haven't seen the first movie and you're just playing a horror game, this game is for you. If you know nothing about Alien and you just want to play a game because it's a game, maybe not jump into it, you know? So yeah, you play as Ripley's daughter trying to find Ripley. Which, it's so strange to play as this daughter, and she's been gone for like 15 years. So I'm like, okay, this girl is definitely 20-something at the very least. I don't remember Ripley ever mentioning she had a daughter. I could be wrong. I just don't remember it. But you're trying to go back to the ship which the alien attacked. And while you're doing that, you basically get a distress call from a ship. You land on it to see what's going on. And of course, something happens. Your ship gets dislodged. Your team goes in. They get thrown all about the space station. And they're all like separated. And you're trying to help out. And of course, everyone's in disarray, killing each other, trying to survive. It looks like they've been stuck on this thing for months. And the reason is because there's a killer about. And you find out that killer is the alien. Okay. Let me say this. I don't know how this game is on easy and normal. It's probably fun. But when you play it on hard, which now, with me, every game I play now, I play it on the hardest difficulty, because that's usually how the developers want you to play the game is the hardest difficulty. So every game I play now, I usually put on the hardest difficulty. I almost regret it with this game because the AI for the alien is very much like, if you make the slightest movement the wrong way, the alien is down your throat and you're dead, literally. It's so hard. Is it fun? At times, I guess it is fun, but like, this game compared to, like, this is hard, right? But compared to Bloodborne, which is also really hard, I'd rather play Bloodborne, hence why I haven't beat this game, and I'm Bloodborne, I'm near the end of it, and that's a huge RPG type game, you know? This game is just really hard. It's made by Sega, which, before I get into anything, this game is fantastic in the sound, the atmosphere, and the look. You start the game off in the ship that's a duplicate of the ship from the movie, and my god, it looks like the movie. They did an amazing job with sound effects, the bling bling, like weird little bleeps and bloops of like DOS sounding computers from the first movie. They did 100% perfectly. The atmosphere, if you want to play this game for any reason, it's the atmosphere. It's perfect. The AI can be buggy. The game can be very buggy. Like, sometimes certain enemies won't walk through certain doors. They'll just act funny. There's at one point these robots will start dancing for no reason. And expect that because it's Sega. Sega used to be a great company. I don't know what happened to them, but I know they probably were the publisher, not the actual makers. But every time they have their seal of something on it, there's usually something wrong. In this case, great looking game, can be buggy as hell. But I recommend it. I got it for $20. So, and you can tell it's not in the original case because I got this from Amazon's warehouse deal. Same thing with the order. Sometimes I'll have a warehouse deal where it's like, someone sent this back, it works, do you want it? And I'm like, yeah. And I get it for half off. So, yeah. Order and Alien, two really good games, but I also got Bloodborne, and I'd recommend Bloodborne probably a lot more. Yeah, because Bloodborne you'll really get your time out of, even if you spend $70. Out of all these, the three games I showed, Bloodborne would be the one I'd spend 70-something bucks on, even though I spent 30-something, because I'm a cheapo. So, yeah. I have three more things here. I don't want to waste too much of you guys' time. And plus, you can tell my throat's probably going because I'm still sick. But the next three things I just want to show real fast is Pokemon. I'm not sure if I showed you guys this last month. If I did, I'm going to assume I did. I'm just going to show it real fast. Say Pokemon Omega Ruby. In my opinion, is not the best Pokemon in the world. I never played the original Ruby or Sapphire. This game, story-wise, to me, was confusing. I didn't understand the actual story. Like, oh, there's two gangs, and they're trying to do something with the old Pokemon. It's like, yeah, okay. And I'm not saying other Pokemon games had better stories, but I literally was just playing this game to get it over with near the end. When X and Y I actually had fun with. Is it the, you know, what's the word? The allure of the 3D engine is already more in its time with me? I hope not, because I freaking love the new Pokemon engine. But this game, if you're a huge fan of these games, you already own it. If you're waiting on this game, or if you haven't even played X or Y and you have a decision between X or Y or Alpha Omega Ruby, get X or Y. Get X because you're cool like me, but get those ones unless you really want this game. Then I'll say go get it. Because I think now they're both around $29, which is both a good deal. Let me put my haul back in my mouth here. I apologize, guys. I was gonna originally wait for this video, and I was thinking about doing a double month, but I'm like, no. Get me medicated. Make it so I don't die. And film the video. Okay. So, next is a game I played, and one is I played years ago, but a re-release. Actually, I've played both of them. And these are both re-releases, and I'll probably just show them both here. and that is Final Fantasy X and X2. I should get a giant marker and cross out X2. I'll get to that in a second. Well, other than X2 being kind of garbage, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. I was a huge supporter of Xenoblade years ago. I don't think I ever talked about it, but I was a huge supporter of Operation Rainfall, which, if you don't know, was the push to get Xenoblade, Last Story, and Pandora's Tower released in America and Canada. And I was a part of that, signed petitions, all that junk, and we got it down here. That's amazing. So I own all of them on the Wii. I was there day one for each game, pre-ordered some of them. I didn't pre-order Xenoblade, but I went to the store day one and got it. That was before it got rare, and EB Games / GameStop decided to open sealed copies and sell it for $90. If you guys didn't know that, they did that, and I'm not sure if they're still doing that, but there's a reason why I don't shop there much anymore. But this is the re-release on 3DS, and I should clarify, the new 3DS. This game can only be played with the new 3DS, which I got last month? I forget, but I got it a month or two ago. The new 3DS, I love it. It's great to see... Okay, it's horrible to see games that need it, because I don't think Nintendo should be doing that kind of thing, personally. But if they're going to be releasing games like this is a huge deal. And it's also a perfect port. I was going to say that next. The game looks exactly like the Wii one, but it does have issues like all the menus and stuff are a direct port. Well, except for some things are changed because you are playing on a DS, you know. But like some things where they're like, boop, tutorial, and the writing is so small because it was meant for a TV, right? So it does have issues in that case, but the actual game itself, it's perfect. The 3D is garbage in-game because everything is so small, it just hurts your eyes. But the 3D for cutscenes is fantastic. If you're going to play this game in 3D, which if you have a new 3DS, why not? The new 3DS's 3D is pretty great. Watch all the cutscenes in 3D, they look fantastic. The game is great, 100% recommend it. This is a steal to get it for, you know, 35, 45 bucks, whatever they want new for it. It's a steal. Pick it up. It's a great game. I can't recommend it enough. X and X2. I'm not sure how much you guys just saw there. My camera died. And then it said it died, and then the timer was still going, so you might have heard me sound like a dingus, like probably for 30 minutes. So, as I was saying, Final Fantasy, this is the last thing, by the way, so I'm going to do this fast. X and X2, I played X back when it came out. I never beat it. I actually got stuck at a octopus, I think it was. There was a save point on this boat, and then you talk to someone. You can't fight anything. So, if you didn't grind, and you were under level, you were screwed. But X is really good. I want to go back and play it in HD. You're probably thinking, why did I get the Vita version when there's a PS3 version and a PS4 version? If you guys don't know, the reason why I buy Vita ports, if they're on other consoles, is the fact that I have the Vita TV and a Vita. If I can take an RPG like this, for example, still play it in 720 or whatever, HD, on my TV, and then pop it in a portable system, and then go play it somewhere else in HD still, why would I buy it on HD on a console that isn't portable? You know what I mean? Just to maybe have some better graphics, even though this is a PS2 game, how good you can really get. So that's why I buy these Vita ports. Now, the reason why I said I should cross out X2 is X2, this isn't X2 at all. Let me just put that to the side. I'm not sure if you saw that. If you did, I'm going to have to edit that out. But it actually just comes, I'm going to see if you guys can see this. Just with, oh come on. Every time I do this, I look like I'm crazy. I'm like, look, do you see it, guys? Do you see it? Even though I know you can't. Yeah, you can't see that. Oh, did it just do it? I'm wasting so much life right now. Okay, so you just you gotta trust me. The cart just says X10. If you guys don't know, X2 is downloadable only. Why? Exactly. Why can't you just, if it couldn't fit, which I'm pretty sure that was the reason why it couldn't fit, then throw it on another cart. You know, come on. So I got this for $14, just to have an HD version of X, which is the game you're really only going to be playing anyways, isn't horrible. And you're probably thinking, well, you could get probably for 19 or 14 bucks, both of them on PS3, you dingus. Well, I have a plan. And this is our plan, is to import the Hong Kong version of X2. If you don't know, Hong Kong has a lot of digital-only games that are down here on discs, or, you know, carts, and they actually have an English version of X2 on a cartridge. It costs a lot of money, but I'd rather have physical copies than digital. If you guys know me, you guys know this by now, that every time I can get a physical copy of anything digital, I'll usually pick it up. So, yeah, that is the plan. If you didn't know, that voice I did a second ago was supposed to be my horrible Bane impression. If you guys been around for a while, you may have saw a video I made of me as Bane, and there's a reason why it's gone. So, yeah, that's the update. I know, very bad. But it's what I got, and I didn't want to disappoint, so I tried to make the video anyways. So, I thank you guys for watching, like always, and I'm very thankful. There's a lot of you guys who watch, and you guys are awesome, and I mean that. I'm not just saying that because you are subscribers. It's true. I'm very thankful. You guys know I don't know how to end videos, and I am very thankful. And there's a few videos I do want to make related to Japanese TV shows on DVD, like I did with my Ultraman, Ultra 7, and Fight Dragon. There's actually 3 or 4 other shows I want to talk about, so hopefully I'll get to those. That is the plan, is to get to those, and you'll hopefully have some more content, even though why would you want to see me talk about anything? But I'm glad you do. So thank you very much. Hopefully I'll get on time the May update, and hopefully I won't be sick. And yeah, I'm sorry for wasting your time. Thank you for watching and stuff.